Yeah, and hence why I went for a genre style, a big genre style action movie. As I thought, well, I might as well go for more bums on seats. I don't really have a big name actor in the film. We've got Neil McDonough in there, who's been in Minority Report and
Yeah,
Captain America and all that sort of stuff. But he's still probably not enough to pull big numbers, but he at least gives the movie some real street cred.
yeah,
So a lot of people go, I like that guy, I know that guy, but they might not remember his name, but he's been in 200 something films,
that's right.
and he's got a great following, and a lot of people like him. But the reality is the robots are probably going to be my biggest draw card. The action side's going to be a big draw card. The trailer does a lot of the work. The marketing does a lot of the work.
Yeah,
We're going to sell it ourselves. We're pretty much going to do exactly what the distributors were going to do, right? They were literally just going to dump my movie over multiple platforms around the world, and sit back and get the money. And so we're literally doing exactly the same thing.
G'day everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's I guess the end of a long week for those of us here in Australia. For those people in the US, are probably still tucked up in their beds, and for any of you in the UK, it's the beginning of Friday, but getting close to the weekend. So we've got Mark Toia with us today. He's been around the block and back a few times. He's directed many and acted as the DOP cinematographer for many high-end commercials all over the world. I'm going to play a bit of his show reel later as well, so you can see that just the breadth of the work that he's done. But the main focus, at least for the beginning part, is to talk about Monsters of Man, which is his new sci-fi flick coming out soon. I believe it's actually premiering at the Sydney Science Film Festival. So if you are in Sydney, you can actually get an early viewing of it. You can see it on the big screen, so that would be well worth checking into. One of the things that I like the sound of with this is I know Simon enjoys sci-fis that have, I guess, a fairly believable plot line, and that they are relatively grounded in a future that's not so far removed from ourselves that, it's not Star Wars, it's something that could actually happen here on Earth. And I agree, I do believe that sort of thing is far scarier. So before we bring him on, I'm actually going to play the trailer. Let's check it out.
Sir, we've landed. Are we still in all go?
We are go.
We're dropping a secret team of robots into a country that we're not supposed to be in. It got serious the moment it was thought up.
Hey!
Stand up! You're all gone, or I'll kill you!
Do it.
These people have seen everything.
Take them all down. No witnesses. Oh, shit!
Do you have an ID on him yet?
Sending you a packet.
Special forces, huh? If this guy's a deserter, it could be the ultimate field test.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
She's a doctor. They're all doctors. They're here on a good cause mission.
Come on, man. Okay, you're scaring her. You're scaring me.
I'm scared.
Come on! Do it! Fight me like a man, come on! You were made by humans to afflict death! We're different! I'm a man, I have life! You're a machine!
So good. I absolutely love it. It's exciting stuff. G'day, mate. How you going?
Oh, good. Nice to hook up.
Absolutely. It's nice to see you've got the movie playing there in the background.
Yeah, I prefer a distraction to my ugly head, so people can at least watch that.
So, mate, I always like to get people to start by, I guess, telling people a little bit about themselves, like who they are and what they're up to currently, and then we can kind of wind the clock back into the story from there.
Who I am? I just a filmmaker like anyone else. I make TV commercials around the world. I'm a director actually. I'm not so much a DP. I do shoot a lot of my own work, and I edit all my own work and all that sort of stuff. And I do lots of special effects myself. Hence why I can go out and make a movie myself. We've got all our own equipment, all of everything, so it becomes quite an easy thing to do, believe it or not. My 20-something, 30 years of making commercials has honed me into the ultimate Swiss Army knife, and I can, that's where I am today. I make a lot of TV commercials, and I've just decided to make a movie just to see what the lay of the land is there in that world. So
Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi being something that I guess out of the different movie genres, is that a favourite for you? What's the reason you decided to go down the path of doing a sci-fi as your first feature?
Well, I did a bit of a study first. Like I said, this was a commercial experiment, and I wanted to make sure I didn't make a film that was just going to sit on a shelf. So I thought, well, what's better than doing more of a big budget looking genre film rather than a small drama of someone with health issues in the back of Sydney or doing drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? I couldn't get my head around the commercial aspects of doing a little Aussie drama that might never be seen. So I thought I'd just go out on a bit of a limb and just make myself something like we've done, with robots and explosions and a big action film, something that we could sell to the world and just see how it went. And it was completely self-funded, so we haven't had any real stress making the movie, and selling it's not a big stress for us either. But so we're not really selling it the conventional way. We did try. We had a lot of people wanting to buy the movie off us, but a lot of those contracts are fairly difficult, for a filmmaker. So
I've heard of some pretty terrible situations. In fact, terrible.
Yeah,
deals.
a lot of them you don't really get paid straight away. It might take you years to see a dime, and there's a lot of anyway. I'm a new filmmaker. I'm sure the world's taking advantage of me. But that said,
it's hard to know sometimes, I guess, where these things tend to sit. I tune into a podcast. Now you're frozen there, so I'm just going to chat while we reconnect. But I tune into a podcast for people watching. If you're a lover of film, there's a podcast by a guy by the name of Alex Ferrari. It's called the Indie Film Hustle, and that's a really great podcast. And I think he does record some of the episodes as well, but it's definitely worth checking out. He's got hundreds. I was just talking about the Indie Film Hustle. He's got hundreds and hundreds of episodes, and he went into quite a lot of detail into some of trying to expose some of the fairly questionable film distributors, and just talking about these terrible deals where literally people do see no money, and it's just so easy for people to hide. It's super simple. Like they've got no transparency essentially in terms of you better see what's happening with the dollars, and so they can say, oh yes, well you were going to get a check for 1,000, this month, but we spent that on marketing money, or that went into your overheads here and there. So it does sound difficult. So if you haven't gone down that path, what path are you heading down?
Well, look, we're going through a pure self-distribution model now. And look, I'm not saying that all distributors are crazy and are going to rip you off.
Yeah.
Now that we're doing a self-distribution model, we now know the amount of work involved to do so, to get your movie in 60, 70 countries around the world at the same time on multiple platforms. It's a lot of effort, right? And not just that, the marketing that we're putting ourselves through is very intense. I think we're doing probably a lot more marketing than what a normal distributor would do, but I really want the movie to be successful, and I don't want it to fail from lack of trying or at someone else's hand. There's a couple of ways of distributing movies. One is making the movie, taking it to the markets, pre-selling your movie, trying to get someone to invest in it early, someone to buy it off you early. You make your movie, you sell it to territories around the world, domestic territories as well, like US and Australia and whatever. And you try and do deals to where you can get enough money back to pay for the cost of the film. Yeah. And if your movie's really awesome, they might give you more. But the odds are you won't really get much unless it's got Chris Hemsworth in it or some giant star.
Yeah.
So and hence why I went for a genre style, a big genre style action movie. As I thought, well, I might as well go for more bums on seats. I don't really have a big name actor in the film. We've got Neil McDonough in there, who's been in Minority Report and Captain America and all that sort of stuff. But he's still probably not enough to pull big numbers, but he at least gives the movie some real street cred. Yeah. So a lot of people go, I like that guy. I know that guy, but they might not remember his name, but he's been in 200-something films.
That's right.
And he's got a great following, and a lot of people like him. But the reality is the robots are probably going to be my biggest draw card. The action side's going to be a big draw card. The trailer does a lot of the work. The marketing does a lot of the work.
Yeah.
We're going to sell it ourselves. We're pretty much going to do exactly what the distributors were going to do, right? They were literally just going to dump my movie over multiple platforms around the world, and sit back and get the money. And so we're literally doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, right.